cascading style sheets. Which is referred to as CSS. Okay, so CSS actually it is a language which is referred to as an style sheets or style language. Okay, so first of all we'll see that what do you mean by styling and all those things. So what happens when we are writing a HTML page? Okay, we are just concentrating only on the content. What do you mean by content? Like what should be there, how I can make my data should be represented on a HTML page. We were just looking for that. Okay, so apart from data we need to also concentrate on the presentation. What do you mean presentation? Presentation is nothing but the look and feel of the web page is most important. Okay, so if you consider like there is a newspaper. Okay, so when we read the newspaper, when it have a proper justification or alignments, okay, means the data whatever is represented on a newspaper should be in a formatted way. Okay, what do you mean by formatting? Like the newspaper such that it should be in a human readable format. Okay, that is the reason that the people, those who are news reporters, they collect the data, okay, and they send to the office of that particular newspaper office. There we have an editorial board. Editorial board. Can anyone tell me what this editorial board will do? Okay, they organize the data. They organize the data and they make all these type of formatting on the particular data such that it can be readable. Okay, so how the reporters are representing the data, if the data is being clumsed on your newspaper, then it's very difficult to read it. So that we call it as an presentation. Okay, or that we call it as an formatting. So here in a similar way, in HTML page, in HTML page we are just earlier we are just only concentrating on content. Okay, now we need to also concentrate on the presentation. Okay, now earlier days newspapers were in black and white. Okay, but now it has been changed the trend to color. Okay, most of the pictures are in a color. Okay, why? Because just to have an attraction that you read more effectively. So that's the reason here. Okay, in a similar way, if we simply represent the content, no one will be interested in our HTML web pages. Okay, the page should be in such a way that it should be presenting this particular content in a neat and readable format. Readable format. Okay, with a rich look and feel. Rich look and feel of that UI. UI is nothing but user interface. Okay, so we are creating a user interfaces, means we are creating the front end. Okay, where you have created some grocery store earlier. Okay, with the help of some frames. Okay, you are displaying some categories here like pulses. So whenever you click on the pulses images need to become. Okay, now what is this is like, now if you have proper colorings for this, like a proper color for the grocery store, and you can make a proper styling for this. Okay, that how this border should be. Okay, how does it should look like, how the menu should be. Okay, what should be the color for this menu, how the spacing should be between the each menu item, what should be the spacing between these individual elements. Okay, how these elements need to be represented, all these is defined with the help of a CSS. Okay, with the help of a CSS, which is called as a cascading style sheets. Okay, so now to represent the content very neat in an effective format, we can go for CSS language. Okay, itself is a language which do have a set of rules and some regulations that need to be followed while writing this particular language. Okay. Now hope you got some overview about why we use CSS. Okay. So now in the cascading style sheets, the CSS, in the cascading style sheets, there are different types of CSS. Okay, we will look for that. What are those different types? But why we use this, sir? Okay, why we use CSS? What happened in a software development? Okay, there are a group of people, those who will be designing the web pages. Okay, there are the group of people, those who write only the content of a web page. Okay, what should be there, what should not be there. Okay, how that, what data should be presented in the web page will be defined by these content writers. Okay, we call them as a content writers. They are not bothered about this designing. Okay, and this whole together we can refer to as an front end developer. Okay, front end developers. Okay, those who look only for developing the front end. Okay, similarly you have your back end developers, those who concentrate on what should be the technologies which will be running on the server side. Okay, server side programming, referred to as backend developers. Okay, so now here what I was talking is like, to become a very good front end developer, you should be very much familiar with some of the technologies, like you should be familiar with HTML, with CSS, with JavaScript, okay, with Ruby, and there are a huge set of languages, but these three plays a major role. Which one? HTML, CSS and JavaScript, such that you can able to create your front end. Okay, what do you mean by front end? Front end is nothing but the picturization of your data, that is nothing but content, along with presentation. Okay, now what happened, what I can do with this presentation is, the presentation can be written with the help of a CSS, and the content can be written with the help of an HTML tags. Okay, what you are earlier doing now. Okay, so now what will happen, sir, if I don't write CSS? Just it's matter of the presentation. So sir, if I'm not doing any presentation also, I can see something like h1 tag is being represented in a larger size. Okay, and h6 is represented as in a smaller size. Okay, paragraph to have certain styling, it to have certain font size. Okay, then if we go for a pre-tag is having its own font family, which is differ with the other elements like h1 and p and so on. So what do you mean by this, sir? What do you mean by this is, when we are writing in HTML tags, the browser has certain styling rules. It is called them browser styling rules. Okay, so browser styling rules will be applied on these HTML tags. Okay, that is the reason that you can able to see like h1 is being represented in a larger size. Okay, which we also call it as a browser default. Okay, browser default style sheet. Okay, what do you mean by this is, by default a style sheet will be applied on all the elements of the HTML. Okay, that is the reason that every element is being represented by certain variations. Okay, so when the browser parse it, it tries to apply the styling rules which are there by default on the particular browser. That is the reason, or in some at some time you can able to observe that one browser visualize the data, vi- uh, visualize the data in a different way, like Google Chrome. Okay, suppose if you open the same website in the Internet Explorer, that might be in a different look and feel. Okay, means the elements on which you are not applying the styles, Means you can apply your own style rules. Okay, what do you mean by style rules? We'll learn all these style rules which are there in CSS. Okay, so what we are going to learn in CSS is we are going to learn we are going to learn how CSS rules can be, okay, and how these rules can be applied on HTML tags. I hope this is clear to everyone that what I'm speaking now. Okay, that CSS is actually a language that can be used to write certain rules, and those rules can be applied on your HTML tags. Okay, and when I apply it on a HTML tags, the look and feel of the HTML tag will be changed. Look and feel of the HTML tag will be changed when I apply these rules over it upon this. Okay, so now what is CSS is? Okay, actually is a language, is a styling language which came up with a different version of this, like CSS1, CSS 2.0, and CSS 3.0, and CSS 4.0. Okay, actually every version has its own individual versions, okay, depending on the changes that has been made into that language. Okay, so the current version what we are using is CSS 3.0. Still CSS 4.0 to exist, but it does not much influence the web. Okay, that's the reason that, because there might be different reasons behind this, that the advanced features are still exist in the CSS 3.0. That is the reason most of the people will prefer nowadays to use this CSS 3.0 as a version. Okay, so this version details we are going to learn now. Okay, what exactly the CSS 3.0 is consist of. I hope till this it's clear to everyone that what we are going to learn is CSS version 3.0. Okay, now sir, why I have to define a style rules? Suppose for example the major advantage of CSS is that, as I told you, that there are some people those who are for content writing. Okay, they will only write the content. Okay, means they are just writing the data on the HTML pages. Okay, there is a set of team who will be working only on defining the presentation. For example, how paragraph should look like, okay, how the division should look like, how a h1 should look like, okay, then how your select should look like, how your input should look like. Okay, means all the elements which are there in HTML, how it should look like will be defined by a presentation team, which is also called as a design team. Okay, so specifically they will work only on this designing. Okay, now here if I write a style, single one style, the major advantage is this style can be applied on any HTML page. Like this HTML page, if you see that this is a home page, then you can apply it on home page. If this is a products page, then the same style rules can be applied on a product page. The same style rules can be applied on your purchase or order page. Okay, the same style rule will be can be applied on different web pages. Okay, means one style rule means you can write one single file which can be inherited in all these particular documents, and it apply the changes to all the web pages at a time. Okay, can anyone tell me what is the advantage of this is? Can anyone tell me what is the advantage of this? Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just try to understand that what is the advantage here is, like it make an homogeneous appearance. For example, if you look for an website, any of the website, like, yeah, I will tell you what are these things here. we'll try to observe this. Okay, Amazon. Then if you see that there is an set of appearance here, like the background color is in a black color, the menu background is in a black color. Okay, then there are certain details over here. Okay, now if you see for best sellers or something like this, or in the mobiles, then if you see that background is immediately changing to the white color, then what happened here is, like, there is some categories that has been categorized, and means there are certain css which is being applied on every individual page now. Okay, that is the reason that the look and feel of this is constant on all the pages. Okay, the background color. Okay, see this is some color which is applied on this. If the category is on mobiles, then it is doing something. Okay, if I click on certain mobile, then this css rules is being applied over here. Okay, so we can write certain css files, and that css files can be common to most of the products. Okay, most of the pages. So now that is the major advantage of using an css, that a simple the same style can be applied on multiple number of pages. Okay, so, and the major advantage again is, if I change the rule here, if I change the styling rule here, okay, then it will be applied on all the web pages. Okay, so what exactly happen is, what the browser will do. So if this is the browser, okay, browser receives an html tags along with the rules, styling rules. Okay, so the browser will parse it. Okay, if no styling rules are there, then it applies the browser default rules. It applies the browser default rules, hence the reason that h1 is looking in a bit larger size and with a color, default color called as black. Okay, and the default background color is white, even though it does not specify that what should be the color of the body. Do we specifying any color while we are writing html?
No, sir.
By default we are not specifying any color to this. Okay, if you specifically define like an bg color, then the background color is being defined by you for this individual tag, then it will parse for that particular color. Okay, or else it will look only for the browser default color. Suppose if you are specifying some rules to this particular html page, okay, then the browser will first of all look for that styling rules, then it replaces this default rules with the rules which you have been specified. Okay, then it applies all the rules on the html page. Hope this is clear. So now what will happen is, while sending an html tag, it can also send an css file. Okay, so html file will be separate and css file will be separate. Okay, the css file will be loaded into the browser cache memory. Which memory? Browser cache memory. Okay, at some time you will also refer to some images, okay, in the html. Okay, I am not specifying it as a separate file, but inside a html tag itself you will be specifying an image source. Okay, that image src is equal to, we will be writing some image source, is it? Okay, so what will happen is, this browser will also store these images in this, means it will store a css file, it will store a image file, then it can also store, I will tell you what are other files it will store accordingly. Okay, so this cache will store these files. What is the major advantage here is, okay, so every time when we reload the page, it will not again call upon these images. Okay, simply it will go to the cache memory and it will fetch it. Okay, so what do you mean by this? What is the advantage? Can one tell me what is the advantage?
Faster access of images.
Yeah, it makes a faster access of the content, whether it may be images or it may be an okay, like this is a server. So all your images, your HTML files, your videos, okay, as well your CSS files will be located onto the server. So whenever you make a request, okay, you made a request to server will send you all these things. Okay, so actually it first of all sends an HTML file. Okay, then when HTML tries to load over here, it will try to search for src. Okay, that src will check for the images where it is located. Suppose you have been referring the source to another server, for example. Okay, now here it sends a request to another server where the images are located. That is the reason that what is happening in your assignment, when you're submitting the assignment, you can't visualize your images. May I know the reason behind this is why your images are not getting displayed when you're submitting your assignment?
Those are local images,
We can't
like they are in
images
our
are present
PC.
Local
in local
files.
server, not in remote
Absolutely true.
servers.
Absolutely true. I appreciate the answers, those who are giving the answers. Okay. Why? Because what is happening now is you are writing the programs in your own computer, means that is local to you. Okay, like for example, you are creating a grocery.html. This will be a home page. Here you are writing some images inside of this. Okay, you are writing an images inside of this, like uh, your banner generally refers to a header of that banner.jpg. Okay, and this banner.jpg will be in a folder called as an images. Okay, so how you'll refer this? So when you write an image src equal to double quotes, you'll be writing dot slash images slash banner.jpg. Okay, and you're trying to upload this grocery.html to one server. Which is this? What is the server is? That is a Microsoft Teams server. You are uploading this. Okay, what you are uploading? You are just uploading the HTML page. Okay, whether you are uploading the images or the images folder,
No,
No,
No.
sir.
you are just uploading the HTML files. You are not uploading a folder which consists of an images. Okay, that is the reason that this link is no more be finding. Okay, so there are certain students, those what uh, they applied some logic over here. Instead of uploading the images like this from your local system, what they did, they uploaded it onto another server. Okay, can anyone tell me who did this? Unmute and tell me, speak me about this. Someone did this while writing your biodata. I have checked it. I also commented in your evaluation also. No one did. Are you there? Are you listening to the class?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what is that role. Who is that is? Those who applied that. Okay, I will check it. So now what they did is, instead of making the images local onto their machine, they uploaded to some another server. Okay, there are many servers available where you can upload your photos. Okay, but you can't trust those servers. They can misuse your photos also. Okay, so if it until and unless it is a trusted one, you can't go for this. So better is you can upload it to then Google Drive. You can upload the picture to an Google Drive. There you can get the link. Okay, and that link can be used over here as a source. Then what will happen? Then this particular HTML file is no more looking for a local directory for images. Now it will try to connect to the another server, which is a Google Drive server. Okay, then try to fetch out that image and it will display it over here. Are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Try to do so. Try to upload an image to the Google Drive, copy the link and paste it in your HTML page. But if your computer does not have an internet connection, for example, then this image will not be displayed. Can I know the reason behind this?
As Google Drive is
Yeah,
Google Drive is a
when
cloud storage,
when
no, sir?
yeah, when it will
it
be
is cloud
linked,
storage, no sir.
when your computer
Connection
to
should be
have
there.
internet connection only, it can able to connect to the server. Okay, suppose if your system is disconnected, then this might not be an proper way to do so. Okay, so basically first we have to check it on our local computer. If everything works fine, then try to upload these images to the drive, then try to link those wherever you have been used. Okay, that is a one way. Okay, now coming back to CSS, what I was stating you is like in a similar manner that a fast response will be there for our websites. Okay, so what will happen, the browser will first of all load the data, plus it will load the CSS files. Okay, when it is a CSS file, okay, it will be stored in a cache memory. Okay, in the cache memory of that. Okay, every time if you refresh the page, it will not again fetch these data which are like images or which are like the data which is already loaded. Okay, until there is a change. How can I know whether there is a change or not? We will see in detail that how this can be. Okay, how this uh, change can be when the change is made in the CSS file, then when does it reflects over here into the browser, or we will check it. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to close this website, and again I made a request, then again the files will be loaded at the time the changes will be reflected. Okay, so these are all the details about CSS files. Now coming to the CSS, hope you got the advantage that why we are going for a CSS is, okay, to have an that you can apply the common rules for all the web pages. All the web pages can have a common styling rules. Okay. Now sir, what do you mean by CSS? Cascading. Cascading is nothing but like overlapping, okay, on, I will tell you what is this, style sheet. Okay, so now what do you mean by this term, overlapping, which defines the rules actually.
Sir, screen
It
not
will
appearing,
be
sir. What you are
screen is not appearing.
Yes,
now it
sir.
is.
Not appear. Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Now it is visible.
No, sir. It's blank, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir. Now
blank.
it's visible.
Now it is appearing, sir.
Okay, might be some internet issue. I'll check up on this. Okay, so there are four different types of style sheets. Four types of style sheets. One is called as an
Atom website is
ex.
appearing, sir.
What more?
Atom
Atom
website
is
is
open.
appearing, sir.
Atom is appearing. Now,
Yes, sir. Converter.
yeah, one note is appearing, external style sheet.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, another one is called as an internal style sheet, or we can also call it as an embedded style sheet. Okay, and the next one is inline style sheet, and the last one is imported style sheet. Okay, so now we will see in a sequence of order. Okay, so now let me first of all, we'll see imported later. Okay, which is very similar to like external style sheet, but with a small variation of how it is imported. We'll look with an inline style sheet. Okay, what do you mean by inline style sheet? Inline style sheet. Okay, so we define style rules with the help of one attribute called as style. What the attribute name is? Style. Why it is called as inline in the sense is we can able to apply that upon the each every individual element. Upon each every individual HTML element, we can apply a style rule. Style equal to, in the double quotes, we can give all the properties which are associated with this particular paragraph. Okay, means all the rules, style rules which are applied for this paragraph, we can write it upon here. So what it is? So it is a name value pair. What it is? It is a name value pair, like color. It is separated by a colon, and we can give a value like red. What this is? This is property name. This is an value. This should be separated by an semicolon. Okay, font size, for example. Okay, colon, we can give it as a pixel, 15 pixels, px. Okay, semicolon, and so on. We can give upon the properties, and we can close like this. Okay, so what will happen is this is in line with paragraph. Then you can write the content of paragraph. This is paragraph, and close this paragraph. Now what happened? Your browser will try to explore this paragraph, and it will try to check this style rule, and it will apply the style rule only for this. Only for what? Will it apply for all the document or only for the paragraph?
Only for that paragraph.
Only for the paragraph. Yeah, the style rule will be applied only for the particular paragraph. So such type of thing is called as inline style sheet. Okay, let us look for this. What is the inline style sheet is? Okay, so simply I'm just writing a page for the inline style sheet. Here I defined a style rule where these are all the properties of that. Okay, there are hundreds and hundreds of properties for every individual element. Okay, please try to understand this. Okay, first of all, we will look for how these rules need to be written. You first don't concentrate on these attributes. Sir, how many are there? Okay, color, font size, font style, text alignment, and so on. How many are there? There are many such type of attributes. Okay, we will see all those. Okay, not all those, I can't guarantee you, because itself will take lot of time. Okay, so CSS 3.0 to have many attributes. Okay, I will show you that how many attributes are there.
Sir, screen again not
So now
appearing, sir. It has gone stuck.
atom is not
Stuck out, sir.
does atom is not visible.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No, sir.
Where it has been stuck?
On OneNote, sir.
One note.
Now
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Is it visible?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have to share the entire screen actually. Okay, so now what is this thing is that I was stating you that the style to have a attribute is a name and a value. So this we have seen already that how the color can be. So now font size, I'm giving it as an 50 pixel. So the size will be increased to 50 pixel. The font style, similarly you have font family. Okay, so now font family, font variant, all these belongs to cursive or inheritance of serif, something like this. Okay, so now what is happening here is every individual uh, element will be applied with a individual style. Guys, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now we'll run this file and we'll check what will happen now. Okay, so how to run this? We have to save it first of all. Right click upon this and show in Explorer. It will open it under Explorer. Then I need to double click on this. Then you can see that what is this? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what happened now is it applied certain style rule for me. So this referred to as which type of style sheet?
Inline
Inline.
style sheet.
Inline style sheet. Very good. So we'll come back and we'll see that what is noise internal or embedded style sheets. Are you writing in your class notes, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone, you need to write an overview. Anyhow, I will give you a detailed notes about uh, what are all these things here. Okay, so embedded style sheet, embedded or internal referred to as, we can write under the head, we can write one meta tag called as an style. Okay, so what do you mean by this? That all the style properties can be applied here. So now here how it need to be applied, sir, then? Okay, there is a rule for this, call it as an style rule, which we can write it like this: p followed by a open and close open and close braces, and we can specify the properties like this: color colon red semicolon, then font hyphen size is nothing but 50 pixel colon. Okay, and you can goes on giving number of attributes for this. Attributes for whom? For the paragraph. So here this is called as a selector. Okay, and this is called as a description. Description or descriptor. Description or descriptor. Listen carefully. There are two things here. What are those?
Selector or descriptor?
Selector and descriptor. Okay, so now Now if you look this, that what is the syntax for writing an in an embedded or internal stylus, you can have a selector followed by a description or descriptor. Okay, so selector will actually selects the elements. What does it select? It selects the element. There are different types of selectors. Listen carefully. There are different types of selectors. Okay, first one is simple selector. What it is? Simple selector. For example, P followed by color. Descriptions. What the description can be? Description can be a name value pair. Name and value pair separated by what? Separated by semicolon. Okay, you can write all this in a single line, or you can go with a multiple lines or with a new line and so on, which means the same. Okay, now where I should write this? Where I should write this? If you see here, you can able to write this under
Head.
for the title. You can write it style inside and head. You can write it like in style, and what I can write, paragraph, color red. Okay, then now what I can specify, font size is some 20 pixel. Okay, so I'm writing only two properties. Let us save this. Let us run this file again. Means refresh this. Are you seeing any change here when I save and refresh? Are you seeing any change?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why? Because listen, now on a same web page you are applying two style rules. One is nothing but means two types you are applying. One is inline, another one is
Internal.
what? Internal.
Internal.
Now, sir, whether preference is given to internal or whether preference is given to embedded, means which should be executed. Okay, in which order it should be. Okay, that we call it as an order of execution of style sheets. So if you observe, inline is given more priority now. Inline is given more priority. Then comes, this is more priority. Okay, inline. So we can give in this order, more priority. This is less priority. What do you mean priority? Means which should be executed. Okay, so first, if anything is there, first inline will be executed, then followed by embedded or internal, then for whom? External, then comes imported, then at last comes browser default. What do you mean by this? Now with the same example you can observe that if I remove inline now, if I remove the inline, I refresh it. What happened now? What happened?
Internal. Internal is
Welcome to
executed.
CSS.
Why it is in red color? Because if you see here, what we did, that I removed the inline style sheet because there is no inline role. Okay, there is no inline style. Then the preference is given to whom?
Internal.
Then the
Embedded.
preference is given to internal. Okay, if both internal and inline are present, inline is given the more priority. Suppose, sir, Three are there now. Inline is there, internal is there, external is there.
Internal.
Inline will get
Inline.
inline first.
Still
Inline.
inline. Still inline.
Inline.
Yeah,
Inline,
that's
sir.
really good. That's really good analysis. Okay. So what you can see that inline is come at first. If no inline, then it will go for embedded or internal. If no
Internal.
internal or embedded, then it will go for external. If no external, it will go for imported. If
Imported.
nothing is
Imported.
there, what will happen? If nothing is
Browser
there,
Browser
Nothing.
default.
that
Browser
is the
default.
reason that if no style is being applied, then what is happening now? If I remove this also,
Browser default.
remove this also, then it will go for a browser default. Hope you got an clarity between what are the different types of style sheets are there. Okay, how the style rules can be applied now. Okay, now we'll explore more about this styling rules. Now styling rules are nothing but, just now I told you about the selectors, how the selectors can be and what type of selectors can be. Like it's a very simple selector. Okay, like grouping selector. Another one is what? Grouping selector. What do you mean by grouping selector, sir? Is nothing but you can combine one or more elements separated by a comma. Okay, like h1. Okay, so now what will happen? Color red. Suppose, sir, I wrote capital R, then will it affect? You see that what happened now? What happened? What happened now? In the grouping selector, you can group one or more elements together separated by a comma. Separated by what? Separated by an comma. So hence the reason the the color is applied both on P as well as what?
H1.
H1.
Okay, that is called what? A grouping selector. Okay. Similarly, there are many different categories for this. Now, I will tell you again in detail what are the different categories of embedded or internal types is. Okay. We'll look for external style sheet. What do you mean by this, sir? External style sheet in the sense, no more. Now we'll write the style rules inside of an HTML page. This is HTML page, is it? Okay, like an XYZ HTML page. Okay, then we'll write only the elements now. Then where are the style rules will be written? Style rules will be written in a separate file called then .css. .css, like I'll write style.css. Now here I'll try to write all the styles now. All the style rules, we call it as style rules, I will specify here. Then what I should do? I should link my HTML file with this CSS file. Okay, make a link. Can anyone tell me how can I link this now?
Using link
What
tag.
tag should
Anchor
we use?
tag.
Using
Anchor tag.
No.
Link
Anchor
tag.
tag is only
Link
for
tag.
selectors.
anchor
Using
tag.
selectors.
No, it is a
Using link
link
tag.
tag.
Style sheet tag. Style sheet tag. Using link tag.
Listen, it is a link tag. What it is? Link tag
Link
Link
actually
tag.
tag.
links. Yeah, it will be linking our document to a content of a metadata. Okay, here it is also can be referred as a metadata content. So link is specifically used for linking of a document. Okay, anchor tag. Someone is stating like anchor tag. Anchor tag, a tag, is only for creating an hyperlinks. It is not to make a relationship between two files. Okay, this what will happen? It tries to bind up a relationship between HTML as well as with an CSS file. Now, what is the relationship here is? Okay, so the relationship here can be it states that this styles has to be inherited in an HTML file. This the styles or CSS or style type which is of text type has to be inherited under HTML. It states like that. Okay, right. So now can anyone tell me what is the syntax of this link tag? Have you ever checked for that? Okay, right. We'll write it now. So I'll remove all these things. So here I will write the title as external CSS. Then before of this you can write a tag called as a link. Okay, and there are different attributes for this. Okay, so first comes the relationship, which is an relation. I will tell you what are the different types of style sheets again in external style sheet, which is called as an alternate, preferred, okay, and persistent. Okay, there are three different relationship are there. Okay, so actually we'll write it again style sheet first of all. Okay, a simple style sheet. Then we'll going for a H reference now. Okay, what do you mean by H reference? Means you are going to link this page with a reference. Okay, so now we have to create a file called as an style.css, which I already created. Okay, and we have to write certain rules here. So what are the rules? For example, now I write paragraph color should be green now. Okay, so if a single attribute, no need of a semicolon, but still you can write a semicolon. Okay, I'm saving this. How many rules are there in this file now? How many rules are there in this file?
Two.
Two rules.
Two.
Two styling rules. So one will be applied for H1, another one will be applied to
Paragraph.
the paragraph now. Now coming to my HTML page now. Okay, here I'm writing H reference equal to what? Style.css.
Style.css.
But where does it located? It located under /style.css. But this is not a good practice to store the style rules over here. I will create a new folder. What will that folder name now? CSS. Okay, I will move this file to where? To the CSS. So what I should write now? What should be the path now?
CSS slash.
CSS slash means in the current folder, dot represent the current folder. There is a folder called as a CSS. Inside that there is a file called as an style dot.
Style. Dot CSS.
Now I can specify a type. Type is nothing but it can be in text slash CSS. Okay, this makes a relationship between the HTML file and an this file. Okay, so suppose I made another link. I wrote another style sheet. Style1 dot CSS file. I wrote another file. Then whether preference is given to whom, sir? Whether to the first file or to the second file? For example, this style to have only two styles rules. One is called as an P and another one is H1. Okay, suppose this is having some other style rules which is for other elements, like if it is having for division, okay, and for input and for some other elements like form elements, then both will be applied. Okay, if there is overlapping, for example, P is also there here in the style, P is also there under style 1, then can I know which rule will be applied now? Whether style 1 or style rule will be applied. Are you getting my words? So what
No,
I
sir.
try to do is Yeah, let me not confuse you. Let us first of all remove this. Let me save this. Okay, is it clear now? I'm just making a relationship between my HTML page to the CSS page. I think till this point it is clear. For now, I just come back to my page. I refresh this. So what happened now? What this green color is?
Paragraph.
Paragraph.
Orange color is
H1.
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 orange color is a H1. Okay, you can observe that under a under your style. I hope till this point it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Feel that I'm creating another file now, new file, style1.css. Okay, I wrote paragraph. Color is what? Blue. So in style also I do have an paragraph rule. In style one also I do have an paragraph rule. Okay. Now see that I'll come back to my file. I'm just copying this and pasting it. Means on a same HTML page, I'm applying how many rules now? How many style sheets? How many external style sheets?
Two.
Two.
Two style.
Two.
You can link any number of style sheets. Nana, listen carefully. This is your HTML page. It doesn't mean that I can have only a single style sheet. No. Okay. I can have a style. I can have style sheet 2. I can have style sheet 3, and so on. Are you getting my words?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, team A, for example, team A is writing some rules, some styling rules for headers. Okay, team B is writing for a styling rules for the content. Okay, team C is writing for the rules for the footer. Someone team 4 is writing for a style rules for having a menu item, how the menu should be. Okay, so all the style rules is individual now. Okay, if someone is updating, so immediately it will reflect it or not. Is this clear? So any number of styles rules can be applied. So I was talking about the overlapping rule now. If the paragraph is there here, if the paragraph is also there here, okay, so which will be applied now? Okay, whether style 1 is applied or style 2 is applied. So how it is? So that I want to state yours. Okay, so style also have an rule and style 1 also have a same rule. Okay, I'm just saving this. I will just run this now. It is in green color now. Check what happened. What happened?
Change to blue.
White changed to blue. Sir, sir, H1 remained the same. I will tell you, it's very simple thing that this is cascading rule now. The one cascading rule is nothing but the one which comes prior will be given the more preference. Okay. So here which is coming the prior? Style 1 is coming prior
Style.css.
to style 1 is coming prior to style.css. That is the reason more preference is given to whom? More preference is
Style
given
one.
to style
Style
1
1.
dot. Yeah,
CS.
this is called as specificity rule. This can also be called as a specificity rule. I will tell you what are all those such type of rules are, but probably you could have been understood now the three different types. One is what? Inline style sheet. Next one is what? Internal or embedded style sheet, and the last one is external style sheet. Okay, just in your free time, just you go to W3C schools. Okay, and you try to search for this W3C school CSS, and simply in Google you type CSS W3C schools. Immediately you will get this. This is a simple, very good tutorial for that, where you can able to see that how colors can be applied, how backgrounds can be applied, how borders can be applied, and all those things. So one among them is CSS selectors. So I was just stating you that there are different types of selectors. What is this? What is this is? Simple selector. Okay, which is a name selector, which I told you. Okay, similarly you can have a ID selector. Similarly you can have a class selector. There can be a combination selector, grouping selector. Just click on that, then you can see that there are four different types in a combination selector. What are those four different types? One is descendant selector, child selector, adjacent selector, and general sibling selectors. Okay, I will teach you, don't worry about all these things, but in your free time just you go through about this. That said, you get to understand more about the CSS. Yeah, what happened?